Hello, everyone. Today we are going to do a packet tracer of CCNA 3 version 7 10.8.1. Packet tracer configure CDP, LLDP, and NTP. This addressing table. Objectives. In this activity, you will configure a router to receive time information over NTP and configure devices with CDP and LLDP. Configure CDP to run globally on the device. Disable CDP on device interfaces where necessary. Configure LLDP to run globally on the device. Configure LLDP to send and receive messages according to requirements. Configure a router to use an NTP server. Background scenario. A network administrator has been asked to investigate a new client's network. Documentation is incomplete for the network, so some information needs to be discovered. In addition, the NTP server needs to be configured on the router. Discovery protocols must also be adjusted to control traffic discovery protocol traffic and prevent information about the network from being received by potentially unauthorized hosts. Some of the device IP addresses are unknown to you. You must determine what the IP addresses are so that you can connect to the devices over SSH in order to configure them. You can enter them into the addressing table as you discover them. Instructions. Use the table below to log on to the branch switches when you need to do so. Branch switches. Here there are 3 branch switches. BR is branch, SW is switch. Branch switch 1, branch switch 2, branch switch 3 is a username, user password. This information will be used when you remotely access these 3 switches over SSH. And enable secrets. Enable secrets will be used when you trying to enter privileged executive mode. All right, so here's the fast forward time button. This is fast forward time button to speed up STP convergence and to speed up the CDP update process. Let's go to start to do the configuration. There are 3 parts. One is configure LLDP. Second is configure CDP. The last one is configure NTP. All right, let's go to start configure LLDP. Disable CDP on the headquarter router. Headquarter router is here. You need to disable CDP on this router and enable LLDP on it. So let's go to headquarter router. Enable configure terminal. Disable CDP is no CDP run. Enable LLDP is LLDP run. Okay, next. On on headquarter router, configure the links to the switches. Links to the switches, there are 2 links. They connect to these 2 headquarter switch 1, headquarter switch 2 to only receive LLDP message. To only receive LLDP message. That means we need to configure these 2 interfaces on headquarter router to only receive LLDP. So from, okay, let me split the window, view window split. Okay, so we can get information. Yeah, from the addressing table, we can see headquarter has 3 interfaces, G00, G01. These 2 is connect to these 2 headquarter switches. S010 is this red link, serial link. All right, so let me see. This interface is G00. and this interface is G01. Okay, let's go to configure these two interface. Interface only receive. Okay, interface G000 only receive is LLDP receive, no LLDP transmit. Transmit is send. Interface G001 only receive LLDP receive, no LLDP transmit. Okay, so next, disable CDP on the headquarters switch 1 and headquarters switch 2. Headquarters switch 1, headquarters switch 2. So we need to disable CDP on them and enable LLDP on them. So let's go to headquarters switch 1. Enable configure terminal, disable LLDP, no LL, disable CDP, sorry, disable CDP, no CDP run, and enable LLDP, LLDP run. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on headquarters switch 2. All right, configure terminal, disable CDP, no CDP run, enable LLDP, LLDP run. All right, so next is on the headquarters switch 1 and the headquarters switch 2, these two switches, configure the links to the headquarter router. The links to headquarter router only send, not receive LLDP. So we need to we need to configure these two interfaces on the switches. This is G0. We can use. Let me do this. Okay. Okay, on the switch 1 is G01, switch 2 G01 as well. We need to configure these two interfaces only send, not receive LLDP. So let's go to switch 1. Interface G01. Only send, so LLDP. Transmit. Transmit is send. No LLDP. Receive. All right. So let's go to switch 2. Switch 2. G01 interface. Okay. Interface G01. Only send. So LLDP. Transmit. No receive. No LLDP. Receive. Okay. The next, disable LLDP completely. Disable LLDP completely means no send, no receive on headquarters switch 1, headquarters switch 2. Access ports that are in use. Access ports are the ports that are connected to the end devices. So on switch 1, the access port is this one, F024. This connected to the NTP server. On switch 2, the access port is F01 connected to PC1, this end user, end devices. Okay, let's go to switch 1. Switch 1, access port F0 interface F024. Okay, no receive, no send, no LLDP, receive, no LLDP, transmit. Okay, we finish this. Let's go to switch 2. Switch 2, access port is F01. Interface F01, access port. Okay, no receive, no LLDP. Receive, no LLDP. Transmit. Okay, so disable LLDP completely on these 2 access ports. So we finished the first LLDP configuration. Next, we need to configure CDP. Let's go back. CDP. Okay, activate CDP on the branch router. Branch router is this one, branch router. We need to activate CDP on it. So we need to go to enable, configure terminal. Activate CDP is CDP run. All right, CDP run. Next, connect to switch branch switch 1 over SSH. SSH to branch switch 1. Okay, you will not be able to open the CLI window by clicking the branch switch. This, yeah, we cannot open because configure is locked. So we only can remotely access to branch switch 1 by using SSH from branch router. But before we SSH into branch switch 1, we need to know branch switch 1's IP address. Let's go to take a look at the addressing table, branch switch 1. Okay, here, branch switch 1, this is the interface. They only show the VLAN 10 interface. So VLAN 10 is a virtual interface and no IP address. So we need to find branch switch 1's IP address. Maybe. So we need to, okay, we need to add information here. Branch, we change the font color to differentiate the information that we discovered from the existing information. So we go to branch server, use the show CDP neighbor detail. Show CDP neighbor detail to find the branch switch 1's IP address here. The neighbor detail. Neighbor is branch switch 1. The IP address is here. Okay, we find it. We copy this information to the addressing table. So 192.168.4.250. Okay. And the interface is port ID. Port ID is neighbor's interface, G01. There's an interface. This interface is a local interface on the branch server side. This is the local interface. This is port ID on the neighbor side. All right, so G01. So now we find this information. We change the font color. All right. So now we can SSH into branch switch 1 from branch router. So SSH space -L. Here's L, not 1. L means login. Then followed by the username. Username is admin or admin. Then followed by the branch switch 1's IP address. So 192.168.4.250. Okay, so password is here. Password, user password. We need to use the user password to get on the SSH. SW1 admin #. Okay, so we get on the branch switch 1, then enable, and we need to use enable secrets to enter privileged executive mode. Then from there to do the rest work. So the enable secrets is SW1 ENA access £. Okay. And all these secrets, username, and the user password are case sensitive. Be careful. So now we're on the branch switch 1, privileged executive mode. And what do they want us to do from here? Okay, we get on the branch switch 1. So from here, connected to we are here, branch switch 1, they ask us to SSH into branch switch 2 and SSH into branch switch 3, and from there to do the configuration, the access port. Okay, first, in order to do the SSH, we need to know branch switch 2 and branch switch 3's IP address, because they don't show here, so we need to find them. So from here, we need to use the same show command, show CDP neighbor detail to find the IP address. Okay, so we are currently on the branch switch 1, the neighbor here. Oh yeah, here is a branch switch 3. Branch switch 3's IP address. Let me add some information here. So branch switch 2 and branch switch 3. Okay, so here we need to add this information here. Font color blue, font color blue. Okay, so now we can add here the neighbor. One of the neighbor is branch switch 3. Okay, here the IP address is here, 254.192.168.4.254. Interface is port ID. Port ID is neighbor's interface G01. Okay, here G01. All right, so branch switch 2. Branch switch 2's information is here. IP address 253. Okay, 253. Okay, 192.168.4.253. And the interface is this one, port ID. Port ID is neighbor's interface G02. G02. All right, so here we change the font color. All right, so now another neighbor is branch, but we don't need any information about branch router. So let's keep going. So now we can SSH into branch switch 2 now from branch switch 1. SSH space -L, username admin, and switch 2's IP address is 192.168.4.253. All right, so password is here. Password, the user password to switch 2 is W2 admin #. Okay, so now we get on the enable. Okay, go to privileged executive mode. We use enable secrets of this one. It's W2 ENA access #. So now, okay. So now from here, we can do the rest of work. The next is configure the access ports that are in use, not send the CDP. So switch 2, branch switch 2, access port is this one, F01. Okay, this this access port F01. So configure terminal interface F01 access port, and configure this access port not send CDP. So no CDP enable. Okay, so CDP enable, this command is used for the interface configuration mode. CDP run is used for the global configuration mode. So that's a difference. So now we finished the branch switch 2's PAN access port configuration. So we need to go to branch switch 3. So we need to SSH space -L admin followed by the branch switch 3's IP address. Okay, so 192.168.4.254. 254 is switch 3's IP address. Okay, so password, user password is switch 3 is W3 admin #. All right, so enable, go to here, privileged executive mode, use this enable secret is W3 inner access #. Okay, so now we need to configure the access port, configure terminal. Access port is this one, F01. Yeah, F01. Interface F01, this access port. Oh, sorry, interface F01. Okay, this access ports not send CDP, so no CDP enable. Okay, CDP enable is used for interface configuration mode. Okay, so now we finished this configuration. The last one, configure NTP, configure headquarter router HQ. Let's go back to HQ, headquarter router, to use device at 192.168.1.254 as an NTP server. NTP server here, NTP server. So we need to configure headquarter router to use NTP server as in NTP server. Okay, this IP address is NTP server's IP address. We can get from here. We can get information. NTP server. This is NTP server's IP address. Okay, here's IP address 254. Okay, it's the same. So let's go to configure. Enable configure terminal. Okay, so NTP server followed by the NTP server's IP address is this one, 192.168.1.254. Okay, this is, so we finish all this configuration now. Let me remove the window splitter so you can see this addressing table, the blue color, the font color. This information are the information that we found. All right. And yeah, here I'm using on the Word document. So I check here, completion is 100%. That means we perfectly finish this configuration. This packet tracer and configure CDP, LLDP, and NTP. Right. Thank you for watching my video. If you like my video, please thumbs up and subscribe my channel and share with your friends. See you next time.